Hello and welcome back to the world of the spirit consciousness. This is a continuation of the book study session on the astral body and other astral phenomena. We are currently toward the second part of the 15th module. In this particular video session, we will be discussing about rebirth. So we've already discussed the astral death. Coming to the rebirth, so this has been divided into subparts. We'll be discussing about karma, which is the root cause of reincarnation, the resumption of new life with the baggage of the old, forming the astral, etheric, and the physical bodies, the development and the inhibition of past life traits and special situations. Coming to karma as the root cause of reincarnation. So once the causes which took the ego to the devachan are depleted and the experiences collected have been absorbed, the ego once again craves to experience material life. In Hinduism, this intense craving is called Krishna. It may be also called as the impulse to express oneself or an impulse to feel only those external impressions which makes one feel alive. This is the law of evolution. It seems to function through karma, which is the root cause of reincarnation for individuals and the cosmos alike. So, coming to the resumption of the new life with the baggage of the old. So, again, subdivided, we'll understand what the baggage of the past is, how the soul goes about, so to speak, packing the baggage for the next journey of earth life, and how all the incarnations sum up to a continuous chain. So, understanding the baggage of the past, the period of time spent in the mental world is also called the Devachanic rest. The ego is relieved of all the grief and pain during this rest. However, the bad deeds done in the past lifetime are in a state of dormant life and are not yet dead. These dormant seeds of past evil deeds begin germinating the moment the new personality starts shaping up for the new birth. So the ego must necessarily bear the past burden and will reap the seeds sown in the past life. This carried forward burden is called the skandhas in the Buddhism. Along with a host of skandhas, the karma awaits at the boundaries of Devachan, from where the ego arrives to take a new birth. The skandhas are made up of materialistic aspects like abstract ideas, mental habits, powers, and feelings. So how does it move forward? So this process occurs by the ego first paying attention to the mental unit which continues its activity immediately and then focuses the will on the astral permanent atom. The dormant tendencies, as we saw earlier, are projected by the ego as it goes back to rebirth. First, they gather mental matter around themselves and then the elemental essence of the second great kingdom. Hence, it reflects the exact mental development attained by the individual in the previous heaven life. In this way, it can be said that she or he picks up exactly where she or he had left off. Then it gathers astral matter and elemental essence from the third kingdom, hence receiving the substances which will make up the astral body. Due to this, the emotions, yearnings, etc. from the past life gets carried forward. As the ego descends to rebirth, it draws astral matter around itself automatically but not consciously. This material is an exact replica of the person's astral body at the end of the previous astral life. Hence, an individual continues each life in each world exactly from where she or he had paused the last time. So all the incarnations sum up to a continuous chain, therefore. So the learner may recognize the function of karmic law in the above process, but we shall not delve into it in this book. Each rebirth is unfailingly, naturally, and justifiably connected to previous lifetimes. Therefore, all the lives then form a constant, uninterrupted chain. So, having seen the resumption of new life with the baggage of the old, let us see how does the ego form the astral, etheric, and the physical bodies. So, the astral matter which collects around a person doesn't form a proper astral body just yet. First, it takes an ovoid shape, which is the closest we can get to understanding the actual shape of the causal body. Then, when the physical baby body is created, the physical matter strongly attracts the astral matter. This astral matter, which was evenly scattered around the ovoid, now majorly gathers within the limits of the physical body. The astral matter follows every change of the growing physical body, and 99% of it is gathered within the physical body's boundaries. About 1% collects in the remaining ovoid, making up the aura. The collection of astral matter around the astral nucleus may either happen quickly or take a long period of time. When this process is completed, the ego wears the self-created karmic clothing. It is then ready to accept the etheric double from the agents of the lords of karma. The new physical body will be built into the mold of the etheric double. So how does one now let us understand about the development and inhibition of the past life traits. Subdivided into four parts. So past life traits lie dormant till awakened. So we'll look at a case study of a drunkard in past life. We'll discuss the role of parenting and how a child's astral mental bodies are easily shaped. So coming into the past life traits lying dormant. So a person's quality is not directly in play to start with. Initially, they are only seeds which can possibly manifest in the new body's matter. The likelihood of them developing into the same qualities as previous one majorly depends whether the environment of early childhood vitalizes these qualities or not. Good and bad qualities both can be brought to play by stimulation and both can be diminished by dissuasion. If activated, it becomes more powerful in the person's current lifetime than the previous one. If not, it remains a dormant seed which begins disintegrating and doesn't reappear in any future incarnations. Hence, a child doesn't yet have a fixed astral or mind body, but the matter with which these are built do surround him or her. So let us look at the case study of a drunkard in past life. So the desire to drink would have already burnt out in the Kamaloka and surely he'd have gotten rid of it. Although the desire itself has died out, the weakness of character which conquered him still remains. In the following lifetime, his astral matter will have matter that can put this desire into action. But it is not necessary this matter will be used as it was before. So if the parents guide the child into believing that such desires are wrong, he becomes capable of curbing and conquering the desire to drink. Due to the lack of use, such astral matter eventually dies out. So let us look at the role of parenting. So the student must remember that just like the physical body wears away and is replaced, so it is with the astral body. Hence, the dead particles are replaced by the more refined particles in the astral body. Therefore, by establishing self-control, such desires can be overcome and made almost impossible to occur again in the future. In early childhood, a person's ego has very little grasp over his or her vehicles. Hence, she or he seeks guidance from parents to help him get this hold and provide apt conditions to him or her. So, therefore, we come to understanding of how the child's astral mental bodies are easily shaped. The yet to be formed vehicles are extremely easy to shape, and just like the physical body of an acrobat can be trained in early years, same goes with the astral and mental bodies. But the only difference is a lot more can be done with these. That's because they respond uninhibitedly to every vibration they come across. They readily respond to all kinds of good and bad influences around them. Also, they can be shaped much easily during early youth as compared to later years. These stubborn habits, once set, can then be altered but requires significant effort. Hence, a child's future is under the parent's control, and this is much more than even the most doting parents realize. So, a clairvoyant understands how quickly child character can become better if adult characters improve. In a very prominent case recorded, the cruelty of a teacher irrevocably injured the vehicles of a child in such a way that the child was unable to make complete progress in that lifetime as was expected. So, in the lifetime where a child must attain adeptship, it is very important for the child to have a totally perfect environment during childhood. So with this, we've come to the end of the development or the inhibition of past life traits. We now evaluate some special situations, which are again subdivided into four parts: being born with past life memories, terrible form assumed by lost souls, reincarnation as an animal, and curtailment of expression but in the human body. So, seeing about how some people are born with past life memories, there are a lower class of monads. Some of them have rather strong astral bodies, though such phenomenon is somewhat rare. If they reincarnate within a very short interval, at times the shell or the shade from the past life still remains. So, in such a situation, the leftover shade or shell is inclined to get drawn to the new personality. As a result, it strongly adopts the habits and thoughts and even the memories of the past life. So, terrible form is assumed by the lost souls. So, let us look at that. A person who has lived an extremely wicked life has their astral and mental bodies torn away from the ego post death. Since this ego has no body to live in the astral and mental planes, it must rapidly form its own. So then we have a situation where the ego has newly developed astral and mental bodies. The older bodies, which are yet to disintegrate, have an existing attraction with the newer bodies. This attraction asserts itself and then becomes an extremely bad form. It is called the dweller on the threshold. Now, let us see some a special situation which we call as reincarnation as an animal. So, in extreme cases, a person returning to rebirth has formed a very strong association with any kind of animal due to cruel consumption or otherwise. In such a scenario, a magnetic attraction links him or her to the astral body of the animal whose qualities she or he has stimulated. Hence, the latter becomes bonded to the animal's physical body. So, as a result, he or she cannot proceed towards rebirth and is conscious in the astral world and has human capabilities, but can't control the animal to which she or he is linked. Such person cannot communicate through the animal's body in the physical world. The animal soul is not displaced and it continues to control the animal body. This kind of bondage is not reincarnation per se, but it somewhat explains the Oriental belief that a person may reincarnate in an animal body under certain situations. Coming to curtailment of expression but in human body, so when the ego is not so wicked as to receive total bondage, yet the astral body is very animalized, it may go on as a normal human rebirth. However, the physical body will majorly reflect the animal characteristics. Hence, the monsters who are unpleasantly dog-faced, pig-faced, etc. This results into great suffering for the human entity, which gets disconnected from progress and self-expression. However, this is temporary and to bring about reform in the entity. This suffering can in a way be likened to the suffering of other egos which are connected to human bodies with feeble brains, like lunatics, etc. Although lunacy and idiocy are as a result of other wrongdoings. So, having seen the curtailment of expression, but in the human body, we have closed the subject on special situations, and therefore it's the end of the subject of rebirth. In the next module, we will be discussing the mastery of emotion. Stay tuned.